Guys, thank you so much for being there on the internet there. We are here at JK Not Kidding Studios, Birdfight Records in Metro Detroit, Michigan, and we are here for another episode of Candid Conversations with professional musicians. It's something we are all aspiring to do, and this show, this series, is us sharing what we have learned and what these groups that we are working with have learned as professional musicians on how to break out in this difficult world with all the social media. So we have a great group today. We have Keshtkar & Co. It's a jazz group from Detroit. They have a lot of great songs and some experience that we're going to be talking about. Music school, playing gigs, how to do the whole scene here. If this is your first time joining us here, make sure to give us a subscribe. Make sure to like, comment, share with your friends. The more people we can get on these streams, the better it does. YouTube shows it to more people, and we can get just a greater audience to this wonderful music. And we appreciate you being here. And as I mentioned, comments. If you're there, if you have questions for these guys while they're playing, make sure to send those questions, and I'll be asking them those questions. They're going to be playing a set here. I don't know exactly, 5 or 6 songs. And then at the end, we're going to be doing our interview on what that looks like as a professional musician. So when you guys are ready, feel free to take it away. Thank you. We got a little love already on the comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't know if you guys know Joe Kish, but he keeps asking who's Keshtkar. He asked twice, so I didn't want anybody to get mad.
I see. Well, I think we're all a little bit Keshtkar at the end.
At the end of the day.
Keshtkar in the company,
Yeah.
right?
We're the company. He's the Keshtkar.
He's the Keshtkar. Okay, that's cool. Also, Sam Hirsch. This is my favorite band, if you know him.
Sam.
Him or her, I guess.
Sam's our resident photographer.
Oh,
This is
beautiful.
true.
Thank you, Sam, for being here. Appreciate you. Thank you, Joe. We have Leslie as well, maybe.
Leslie.
Malcolm.
That's my Nana.
You rock, and such a great sound.
Hey, Nana. Thank you. Love you.
Yeah, thanks for being here, too. You do sound great. All of you sound great.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. What's the name of that tune? You guys have a name for that one?
That one's called Snub Nose. I wrote that one, I think, my last year at Wayne State when I was kind of, I don't know, I was just messing around with some kind of funkier grooves, and that came out kind of.
Cool.
I like that one a lot. It's kind of the difference in the B section really kind of makes it pop, I think. The different groove there. So.
Do you guys typically take solos in the same kind of places for that tune?
Yeah, we kind of just play it down the form. You know, it's a pretty simple, straightforward form, and we kind of just, run it down kind of as it is. But
We ought to stretch it out a little.
yeah, honestly,
Are the,
especially that second section, that could get pretty.
Yeah.
Okay, that was what I was going to ask. So typically the solo sections are a certain length, but if somebody's really feeling it, you just let them keep going?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, especially if certain tunes will have like a section that's very obvious to just cue. Whereas maybe it's a section, a song with just two different sections, and we kind of just let it boil over on the one section and then cue the next one sometimes. So, yeah, it's kind of just a vibe when we switch over.
Excellent. So Joe has said he is not the resident photographer. All right, well, great. Thanks, guys. Let's hear the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do this is a Wes Montgomery tune entitled Layla, and it's also...
Is this an Eric Clapton Dominoes cover?
spelled differently. It's spelled Leila. That would be fun.
Bummer.
Maybe next time.
Yeah, a Wes Montgomery version of the Derek and the Dominoes version of Layla. That's a fun tune, that synchronized part.
Oh gosh,
Really cool.
it's terrifying to play. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever got it.
The way you were kind of doing your thing, and then all of a sudden you guys just met. I was like, whoa, okay. Because you weren't really that close up until all of a sudden it just
Right.
happened. So
Yeah.
that was very cool.
Yeah, we picked that one up like over a year ago, and we kind of haven't really revisited it. But I don't know. Wes Montgomery's always been one of my favorite jazz guitarists. You know, he's like probably. Yeah, I don't know. He's like
Yeah.
the first one that definitely comes to mind when I hear jazz guitar. You know,
He's the most popular,
Yeah,
for sure,
definitely.
jazz guitarist, and not the first. A lot of people kind of think of like Charlie Christian as being the first and one of the first electric guys, but definitely probably the first name that comes to mind for jazz guitar, Wes Montgomery.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I saw something recently that Wes felt that he couldn't play that fast.
Yeah.
And he picked up the thumb technique to have something unique. And then it became kind of his signature sound,
Yeah.
which is really interesting because like now that's like a thing. That's like a whole genre based around that technique of him feeling inadequate.
Wow.
So I always
Yeah.
like that.
No, yeah, I'd heard something similar too. I'd heard he used to practice a lot, late at night. The thumb was quieter than the pick, and he also, wouldn't wake up his wife and neighbors and stuff. So it like also was kind of out of, what was needed for him at the time to play a little softer. But it turned into this kind of beautiful, warm tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny as a total gearhead. Like last year or 2 years ago, I picked up a early '50s Gibson Jazz box,
Yeah.
and I was playing it. I'm like, oh man, this is pretty good. And then I started playing with my thumb, and immediately like, oh, this is it. Like that was the clincher to buy the guitar because like that was the sound with like the neck pickup. It's a 125, so thick body,
Yeah.
P90. Beat up pretty good, but it was cool enough to like, okay, I now have this. It's got the flats.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, the way
Do I
like-
know how to play jazz? No, but I have the sound.
Yes.
The
That's
way
all
that
matters.
sound,
So-
the way that sound like breaks up too, like that, especially with like the octave runs that he would do, like, and that's just that warm kind of, those warm lows when they would just like crackle a little bit. It's like, it's
yeah,
so-
exactly.
so
Yeah, a
good.
little bit of breakup. Yeah.
Very cool. We got a lot more love in the comments from a bunch of different people. So thanks for being there, everybody. Keep those
Thank
comments
you.
coming. Ask these guys the most deepest, darkest questions that you can come up with because they are legally obliged to answer them.
What's next?
Sorry, they didn't know that, but I made them sign it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. I feel like I maybe have a lot to say about that one. What was it? That was
different.
original, right?
A little different.
Right?
Yeah, that
what was
was
the name of that one? Tell me first.
That
Do me a
one's
favor.
Yeah. That one's called a Dirty Bomb. This is a name we came up with together. That's one that I wrote. I wrote that one.
It's a great theme.
Yeah.
The theme is super cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be just like this. I don't know. It's like a funk song mixed with like almost like an indie like B section or something. I don't even know. It's a little like John Scofield influenced.
See, I was almost hearing like him doing like I think like a trip hop beat.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking of Portishead, and I think that's what they call it.
I've heard
Like
of
there's
that.
some Portishead vibe like beat in there, and I think they, yeah. It was kind of reminding me of that, and I think it was super cool
Yeah.
because it's like almost a juxtaposition to what you're playing.
That's the talk about that.
Yeah, that's the Purdy Shuffle is what it's usually called.
Who
It's
did
like
it come from?
Bernard Purdy is like a legendary session drummer from the I think 60s through 80s. I want to say like 70s and 80s were kind of his big,
Yeah,
decades.
there's that one video of him teaching the Purdy Shuffle, and he's having like the best time.
Yeah, dude. That dude is like the
He's probably 20 years
jolliest
old
man.
or
Like,
something.
yeah, he's a legend. But yeah, I honestly had never really until our rehearsal last week thought to kind of put that groove over it, but it works really well.
Yeah, it works really
like
good.
with the melody and everything, it kind of sets a good.
Yeah, I think it's cool because it makes
Foundation.
it kind of its own thing.
It's different.
Yeah.
Like you said, he's kind of swinging, and
Yeah.
we're kind of being very straight. Ba boom, ba boom, boom.
Yeah, and the guitar tones were great. We asked
Thanks.
somebody asked about the pedal board you
Yeah.
were using. So since you touched 3 different pedals during that one,
Yeah.
You're obligated.
let's get a real quick.
So the big one for that is it's just a clean tone right now through a Mesa Boogie amp and a little slapback delay. But then I stepped on this Leslie simulator pedal.
Yeah, that was fun at the end for just like a little change.
Yeah, exactly. It just like adds a lot of clarity. It adds like a different sound. It kind of sounds like an organ. But in general, it's simulating one of those old rotary speakers that would spin in its cabinet. A lot cheaper.
Cool. I didn't realize the Echo Rec pedal was on because it's like perfectly blocked from where I'm sitting.
It's
as
just
far as-
all I
as far as
have
the
it doing
LED.
is
Yeah.
just like 1.5 maybe right
Yeah.
now. Just like a little kind of slap back. Yeah.
And I love the sound of that Kalamazoo.
Oh yeah, I forgot I stepped on that.
I played an old Kalamazoo like that once, and I
Yeah.
remember it was super great. And I have a newer Kalamazoo, not as good.
Interesting.
It's been on my board for a couple years just because I haven't gotten rid of it, but it's not as good as the old one.
I've had this one for years. I got it from Motor City Guitar
Yeah.
when I was like 13 years old, and
Nice.
it's been like the only drive pedal I've had since then. And I think it's just because I got so comfortable with the
Yeah,
sound of
what
it.
it
But
does.
yeah, exactly. And like other drive pedals sound great too, but I like this
Yeah,
one as
when
well.
it works. I actually have an old Love pedal.
Nice.
Eternity. That they
Nice.
sold me at Motor City and probably like around the 08 time frame.
Yeah, that's like right.
is
It's
fun.
around this time. Yeah.
But yeah, I always wanted one of those Kalamazoo's, and the guy reissued them because they're made in White Lake, Michigan. He's a subscriber, so he's out. Right?
Hey, okay.
I'm just kidding, of course. But I bought one of the newer ones that came out. He was doing reissues during
Yeah.
COVID. It's just not as good.
Interesting.
And listening to yours, I'm like, damn it,
It sounds.
I need one of the old ones.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
But yeah, so pedal board rundown. We got a lot of love in
Yeah.
there from different people. I'm trying to see what we got. Malcolm, your mom is watching and says
Hey, Mom.
hello. Thank you, Malcolm's mom. He was a great person to have here with us for the time that he was here
Yeah.
2 years ago. So thanks for that. And somebody yelling Freebird, so you guys are obligated to do a section of that.
That kind of is our free bird, I would say. So I
Interesting.
think, yeah.
Well, yeah, let's hear another one.
Cool.
What's that?
Interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I mute this guy too? What channel is that on?
Yeah, I think it was coming in hot there for a second. I think that mic is number 2.
Okay.
So if you need to adjust that, I would say.
Yes.
Right there.
Thank you.
It came through super hot for some
Yeah,
reason on
thank
that
you.
last tune.
Okay. 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 Thank
Sick.
you, sir.
That's a real fun one there.
Thank
The
you.
bends, like in that kind of intro section, when you throw those bends in, it's very choice.
I was saying the other day, it sounds like Good, the Bad, and the Ugly to me. That first section.
Yeah, so is that an original?
Yeah.
What is the name?
That one's called The Waitress.
Waitress. Yeah.
The Waitress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk about that one a little bit too. You kind of talk about how it started and what it turned into.
Yeah, we wrote that one very, very like collectively. Like that's kind of the first one that really brought us all together, like writing, you know. Each one of us kind of wrote a bit of that melody and some of the harmony. But yeah, I mean, Logan brought the original idea, and like if he played it for you, you would not recognize
the
it from.
second chord progression on the bass was played a lot faster. I was going like, and that was just a lot going on there. Right? So we slowed it down drastically, and then we kind of put things together for the B section, 4 bars at a time, and we were sat up. You know, he was playing piano, I was playing like the nylon stringed classical guitar, and just trying to figure out a melody for each little section. So
That was one of those nights, man. Everything was just working.
Yeah, somebody was asking for a bass solo before that tune, so you kind of you gave him a little taste of it. So.
we'll see what happens in the next one.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's fun that one was a collaborative effort.
Yeah,
because that one seems to have a lot of changes in a cool way. We're
Yeah,
really
definitely.
Kind of vibing. Somebody, one of your buddies, Joe, said like, "Now we're vibing," right? And it was nice and kind of quiet and calm, and then all of a sudden you guys just kind of exploded, which was really fun.
Oh, I love that middle section right before the explosion, just the.
Let's hear it again. All right. Very cool. Yeah, there's some great comments in there. Thanks for all the love from everybody. If you're here for the first time, make sure to give us a subscribe. Share this with your friends. Tell them if they're not joining and watching right now, they're missing out. It's 8:40 some on a Thursday, and they're not doing anything else important, so they should join us.
Bedtime.
All right, what do we got next?
Yeah, I think so.
We got time for 2 more, you think? Cool. All right. We're going to do Tell Me a Bedtime Story by Herbie Hancock.
All right, Herbie. Beautiful. We got some love there on the melody and the bass.
Thank you.
And then Alaric says hi. Maybe means something.
Alaric.
Alaric.
It's my little bro.
Oh,
Who is it?
It's my little brother.
Oh, nice.
dang.
What's up, dude?
Very cool.
There's one more left here if we have time.
Yeah, we got one more.
Yeah, we got one more.
Let's do
For
it.
sure. That was a cover, right?
Yeah, that was Herbie. This last one is the newest one not the newest one we've written, but second newest one we've written. The newest one isn't quite ready yet. But, this one's called Ludo's Lullaby.
All right, make sure to stick around for the interview with these guys afterwards. So we're going to get into some of these great topics. But they got one more tune for us here.
4 and 2.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice. That was a great one to end on. We got a lot of love on that one.
Hey.
Like warm milk and a lullaby.
Hey.
That's right. That's what we were going
that was a great
for.
one. Well, cool. Thanks so much for the tunes. Thanks for everybody's comments online. So we're going to get into the interview section here with these guys. If you have any other questions, I see there's been a few already. Let us know what the questions are, and we'll get to them as we get through this. So thanks so much for being here so far. You guys are great. That was a lot of fun.
Thank
Some
you.
Great tunes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm going to start kind of at the beginning here. So
Yeah.
you all went to music school, right, for college, right?
Yeah.
So I think inherently, what was the best opportunity you had when you were at music school, besides meeting each other, maybe?
I mean, that's honestly kind of one thing I go back to is just all the people I met, maybe, like all the connections I made musically. I definitely benefited a lot from having private lessons. I know we all went through lessons. We definitely learned a lot there. But yeah, honestly, just the amount of people I know through Wayne who still kind of call me to, jam or, fill in for gigs here and there or whatnot. That's kind of always been the best thing about that experience for me, I would say.
Yeah, the community is a big part of it, and it's one of those things that people think you're gonna get automatically just by going to music school, but it's really something that you gotta look for. Even being there at music school with all these other musicians, you still gotta put yourself in that position of, hey, I'm gonna reach out to these guys, I'm gonna try and jam, I'm gonna go out to an open jam. But you gotta, it's never as easy as it seems. You gotta put yourself out there, but and you'll find people.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I think something that I was not prepared for was that idea that you do have to make yourself a little bit uncomfortable a few times, but just by being someone that shows up and is willing to fall on your face, consistently. And that's part of the love of the game, though, right? Is finding, where we kind of make mistakes and kind of jumping off of each other from there. I don't know, that was like such a good way to learn. It was like falling off your bike over and over in a lot of ways, but then you grow from each experience for sure.
And in terms of some opportunities for me that I got from Wayne State, I got to play at the Detroit Jazz Festival couple times on some different performances. I got to play at the Dirty Dog Jazz Cafe with a couple other students but a lot of teachers and professionals, and that was a really important moment for me, and I'm lucky that I got those opportunities because I don't know that I would have gotten them otherwise.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think I was going to ask kind of my next question, which is maybe a little bit mean, but is music school necessary?
Depends on what you want to do, I think. And, it depends on your accessibility to it, I guess, like everybody makes that calculation, maybe we'd be better off if we waited, past 18 years old to make that calculation. But that's always something that I look back on, probably could have waited to suss it out a little longer to go.
Suss it out, how so?
Just like the financial aspect. I mean, school's expensive, But it's not a total wash.
No, I think it was interesting too because I went into it without any prior band or orchestral experience in school and just doing it as a hobby, and I started realizing that this is probably what I'm gonna be able to pay the most attention to and feel the best about putting my time into during these kind of scholarly years or what have you. And I don't know, I liked a lot about that, but I don't think I was ready for the discipline aspect. I think it's a great choice if you're someone that is, that you've kind of been through the institution of, or, you've been conditioned to do that thing. But I think as far as the growth, I don't think I was ready for everything I was exposed to going there too. And a lot I had to pick up on my own, maybe it was because I was being given information that was a little over my head or something like that. But there's still lessons I can look back on and be like, now I'm finally starting to put it together, but it might have taken time, a little bit longer for me.
I think it's really interesting. I kind of knew that was a loaded question.
Yeah.
Obviously, but for me, the idea
question.
is the community side. Like that's what I was thinking the answer would be from my own perspective as somebody who didn't go to music school. Because when I went to school, or in general, if I met a musician, I was like jumping up and down to try to play music with them. But you said in an interesting way, if everybody around you is playing music, does it seem, I don't know what that would feel like. So the fact that you still have to put yourself out there to get together with people, because it would just be like, it'd be like playing nonstop. This idea.
Yeah,
of,
and it can.
you know, because I went to engineering school, right? It's like, I don't have to pretend I didn't. So this idea of meeting musicians was different. And I remember reading an article with Jimi Hendrix when I was in college. I was like 19 or whatever. And it said, you know, he was playing constantly with everybody around town. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking, like, that's awesome. Like, to me, I loved the idea of that. Like, just going from house to house and playing different styles, different approaches, different people, different everything. And it's cool to think that you could kind of do that with you know, with whatever people you're around.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of developing a better attitude lately towards just like getting out there and jamming with, you know, whomever. Just, I think during, you know, while I was at Wayne, I did have a couple experiences where I was like, yeah, just jam with whoever's here in the program with me. Like, we're all about the same kind of stuff, I would think, you know, more or less. Like, we have fun jamming. And just a couple times it was just like very awkward with maybe people I wasn't really too familiar with, or we just had totally different styles or tastes, and like we didn't really, you know, groove together as far as like jamming. Like, jamming can kind of become, I don't know, it's like difficult to gel with people sometimes when you're jamming with them if you just have like totally different musical interests, I guess. And I think I just let like a couple bad hangs kind of ruin it for me for a while at Wayne, where like now I'm just like, I'll jam with literally anybody.
Yeah, I think it's tough though at that age. I mean, I jam with people too, and it's like they don't know how to play with others. They're just trying to play some Van Halen-y stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, give me an E and an A and just let me fucking rip, right? There's my one language, but it's just like, it's just different, you know. Especially as a guitar player, like sometimes it's like, I don't want to just rip solos. I want to like play off each other. And, you know, for me, meeting like the right kind of drummers and the right kind of bass players, or to like play against, or guitar players either, to like play against or with each other. And I mean against as in like we're complementing each other's sentences, not
Right.
you know, not like one guy soloing and one guy's just playing the back chords and then switch. It's not fun to me.
Yeah. To have like a completely open, you know, mind and ear in those things takes some time. And, you know, and again, it goes back to that being willing to kind of feel uncomfortable for a while. But, you know, that can be what sometimes we'll do, or before we even really say much together in a rehearsal, we might just start, you know, going off the top. And yeah, there's going to be parts of it that don't feel that great, or maybe musical or the right notes at the times, but you just kind of keep repeating it over and over, and, you know, it kind of makes itself happen in an odd way. And like you said, a lot of it is that diplomacy that exists here. You know, I think we've been especially like experimenting more with dynamics and space lately, and the way those textural contrasts create something different that, like you said, isn't just one person filling in a traditional role. You know, maybe we're exchanging who plays the melody and when, and I think that, you know, type of creation is more of where our music's coming from, and less clearly from like these guys went to jazz school. Like, we're not really, you know, ripping giant steps or anything like that.
But you could.
Oh, right.
We could try.
Cool. I think a big part of that, like you said, is to almost, maybe you didn't say it, but be vulnerable, feel vulnerable. It's fun that you guys can walk into a practice, and if one of you starts playing, you know how the other guys know how you're feeling. Or you're playing your kind of feelings in a way, and
Yeah.
you're like, hey man, that's some somber stuff, that's some angry stuff. Like, are you cool?
Right.
You don't always need to talk with words.
And then
you're talking.
Also, from like a technical thing, I think we can pick up when one another is not feeling comfortable on something musically, you know, where it's like I think pretty quickly we get the vibe, oh, like, you know, whatever side's not feeling great about his playing, you know, which is like, then we can kind of work to adjust or whatnot, or just stop and maybe do something else. It's like very easy to get like totally bogged down by your own technical limitations, I feel like, which I think we've all kind of hit a stride lately in like finding a writing style that doesn't really like, I don't know, like we're not trying to rewrite the book, or like we're not, I don't know. We love people like Chick Corea and Weather Report and all that like hyper, awesome fusion stuff, but like that's probably like, we need to work on our own, chops to get to that level, but that's not like a bad thing or anything, you know what I mean?
It's like a goal in a way.
Exactly,
so
yeah.
You can work on the chops to get better, but you can also find your voice along the way.
Exactly, yeah, that's very well said.
Because, Chick Corea, those not Weather Report, I'm thinking...
we like Weather Report a lot, too.
What's that? Oh, Return of Forever.
Yep.
Those are some all really heavy hitters.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
definitely.
So, I think that's great. So, you guys run an open jam, right, at Bolero in Royal Oak. How did that kind of start?
Well, we had an ace in the hole. Is that what they say?
Yeah,
Ace?
something like that. I'm the man on the inside, so I serve drinks there on the weekend, and thankfully, like being a small business and just being a tight crew. One of the business owners, she's a musician, and she was really gung ho with letting us create a space like that there. And now we've been going strong for well over a year, and she often comes through to our sessions and sits in. I think last time we were playing Linus and Lucy with her together. So shout out to Kelly at Bolero for showing us the love and making it happen over there.
So
for sure.
She's one of the newer owners. It's because it's like they had like a whole revamp in the last like 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, 2019, but the place has been there since like 1957. But
Right.
it's under a couple different owners now, and she's one of them.
It's great, and it seems like now there's so much music there all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like almost every day in the week, I feel like they have some band there. Like
There's some guys I play with. They all are in a band with. They play there too sometimes.
Nice.
So it's cool. I think it sounds good in that one room. So
Yeah.
it's fun. So it is an open jam, right? So I know I've seen from your posts, like you guys do a set first, and then afterwards people can sit in. What kind of requirements? Like, how do you know what someone's going to ask for? Who chooses the tune?
so we have like a sign up sheet that we put out, and like you can come up, put your name down, instrument, and then maybe a couple songs that you would want to play.
Okay, so it's written down.
Yeah, and then we kind of just, it's a conversation from there, like with all the musicians up there. Like, do you know this? No. Like, how comfortable do you feel playing this? And then we try and find something else, kind of meet in the middle for everybody. And then
now with the internet, will you ever pull up charts real fast and try?
That's
to do
exactly,
often?
yeah. So iReal Pro is like the app. Plugging iReal Pro.
Yeah, right.
Sponsor us. It's like it's an app you can just download, and it has like a huge database of chord changes for like a ton of jazz, pop, folk tunes, like everything really.
Right.
Like you can really find anything you want to play. And as long as you're like, you can read down like chord changes pretty well, we can kind of make it happen.
Yeah, quite often, we're the rhythm section. We get a lot of drummers, so at least it's usually always me on the bass.
I get to take
and
a
for the
break.
most part, Cyrus holding it down on the guitar. So it's like, we're comfortable with reading these changes. So we're usually going to be kind of the bedrock for whomever wants to come up and do the thing. And we usually aren't too afraid of reading something down now after having done this for a while.
That's cool. So
Yeah.
are you pretty comfortable with reading beforehand then? Not as much.
No.
Okay.
I would say
that's
if-
pretty impressive.
Yeah, I would say no for myself personally. And when I started at Wayne, I had zero reading experience, a little bit of chart reading experience, but zero reading notation. And that was a really interesting thing and helpful thing to get into at Wayne. And it really, it's one of those skills that kind of keeps, like, I see it keep kind of giving back to me when I keep learning tunes, and it's very like circular in that way.
I think it's great because obviously, even if it's been a year, right? The amount of songs you've probably learned to play on the spot. I mean, every night you're doing this, right? You're exercising that muscle and learning more and more, which is really cool, right? It's an open jam, but also like you're pushing yourself every time.
100%.
And I'm sure like you get people up there who maybe don't play as well as they think, and then it's helping you like adapt as well because you're not trying to make anybody look stupid.
Exactly.
I hope.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
If they're a total hack, you're gonna maybe try to play to what they're doing.
Yeah.
right?
This is like such a an interesting like social setting. I feel like that I don't know, like I feel like it could be studied by a sociologist or something, where like it's, you know, we get a lot of kind of more amateur players that come out and maybe like are less, you know, haven't really been to a jam like this before. And yeah, I don't know, Logan and I, we've all kind of talked about it a lot where, you know, we've been to jams where we've kind of gotten iced out like that, or we've gotten vibed. That's usually what it's called.
The what?
Getting vibed is like when you get up to jam and you're blowing chunks up there and everybody's just like giving you the stink eye, kind of
doing
like,
a bad job.
yeah. And like, but it can get pretty like, I would say unnecessarily contentious, where it's like we're all just here to have a good time and everybody's kind of learning, like is learning along the way.
Yeah, if there's people you've never met, you're kind of like, you're going by the seat of your pants, right? Something's gonna happen.
And it's like a two-way street, right? You got to have respect with the people that you're coming up there to jam with, I guess. And
it's like a five-way street if there's 5 people.
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Definitely.
Realistically,
Yeah.
What if guy number 1's making a mistake and guy number 2 is rolling with it? Guy number 3's out to lunch.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Exactly.
not fair.
I mean, there's like it's a pretty prescient like video that just went viral recently of a jam session at Smalls in New York, which is like just like cameraman. This guy's just like up there jamming and like just like the song ends and he just goes, "Thanks for letting me solo, you asshole," and just starts like berating everybody up there and is like, "I can play Spain perfectly. Like, I can." He's like, "I'm a self-taught legend," and it's like,
weird.
at that point, you kind of deserve what's coming to you as far as like people judging your playing or anything. Like it's almost like open season once you like display that much disrespect, I feel like. But if somebody's coming up and just like really giving it their best shot and in earnest, like there's no reason to dog on them if they, you know, stumble over a couple phrases, in my opinion, you know.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, realistically, you know, it's all about having fun and like trying to grow.
Absolutely.
You know, I think in order to get better, you need to make the mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's like you find the boundaries. If you start making the mistakes, you're like, okay, here's that boundary, here's this boundary. Often in jams, like I'm purposely making mistakes, and that sounds funny to say, but I'm like, no, I stepped too far here, step too far there, whatever that might be.
That's my personal favorite thing about any jam, or our jam included, that I always leave there feeling like I know exactly what I need to work on for the next kind of week. Because I think, okay, I did a little too much here, a little too little here, and it's all just quick things. But then for the next 2 weeks, I have all these great, okay, I was at the jam and this went poorly, so I can work on this, all these little checkpoints to work on.
Yeah, there's almost like a subliminal like feeling that you leave there with like there's just like a something in the back of your mind that's like collected every whatever hiccup you had or whatever
good,
or
like
great thing you played.
I did really good
That was
on
awesome.
that, or I did really bad on, you know, and remember all these things.
Right.
That's like that emotion is something really specific too. That, you know, with our opening set, which we usually have be like 6 songs or something like that. You know, coming out of it, we kind of go through the entire range of emotions. You know, range of emotions. Pardon me. I feel like sometimes we'll come out of that and be like, "Wow, we just killed it," or another time it was like, "Oh, I don't know about that." And, you know, this changes on like a, you know, song by song, week by week basis. So no matter how long you've been doing it or how much you even put work into something, when that moment comes, you can't really anticipate what is going to happen, especially if you're trying to, like you said, not trying to make mistakes, but to try to move subconsciously. You do run the risk of something not going your way.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, so what do you think is unique about your guys' open jam versus maybe others around?
I think the location kind of brings out a lot of like different people that I don't really see, you know, at some of the more jams that are downtown, like Detroit.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone through the 2 jams that I've been to most outside of ours is the one at Parts and Labor, and then the one at the Spread Art in downtown. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Trevor Lamb and Travis. Mm-hmm. And you know, they host like such a good hang at those 2, and I think that was pretty informative for me at least. And I think both, you know, all of us, just of how it should be done, because they've always kind of tried to make a welcoming kind of atmosphere. Okay. But I think what's unique is we get like, you know, we get a lot of like older, blues guys, or like that I maybe wouldn't see at either of those jams as frequently. And it's kind of fun to play with them because it's just such a different perspective, I guess, to play with.
Yeah. We always want to meet people where they are is kind of our number one rule. So it's resulted in people calling like Black Sabbath tunes, and we're like, okay, cool. It's like we're in ninth grade again.
Just play it straight up.
We've done both, but usually straight up. Yeah. So I think we have a good back pocket as far as like all of our musical upbringings goes, and now like good chemistry as far as what we can do on the spot. So even if it's something that we're not that familiar with, we can try to learn for someone in that moment, which feels really nice. And it feels really cool that people trust us to be like, this is the first time I've played in front of an audience. We take that with a very heavy degree of seriousness.
I think it says a lot just in general that you're willing to play, let's say, not jazz.
Yeah.
I'm assuming if it's a jazz jam, if I went to Cliff Bell's and said, can we play War Pigs?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah, I would say so.
I think that's another thing that makes it unique, is that it is a jazz jam, but we do not a lot, but we do some pop music, some groove music, some R&B, some, we try to spread it kind of diverse in that way, and like whatever people want to hear, whatever people want to play.
That's cool.
There's such like a kind of like a common practice and just what things you can expect to see at these like jam sessions, like you mentioned, but by all being like not just jazz, players, I think we open that up a lot where we're not just married to learning every Charlie Parker solo. It's great and it's informative, but we all have projects and just like other interests besides practicing, to death. And that, I think when you open yourself up to just those type of things, it ends up kind of falling back on itself and rewarding you in other ways you might not have expected.
Very cool. Yes, I'm curious then, what is it like to be a jazz musician in the Metro Detroit area? Does that have any resonance with you guys?
I mean, there's like a massive history here, for the music. Like, this is, I don't know if we had to, I don't want to rank the most important cities of jazz for its history, but this is
It's up there. Yeah.
top 5 for sure. So many of the most influential sidemen and, like guys who had their own kind of, fame on like Blue Note and these other incredibly influential labels that came from Detroit. And I think Tommy Flanagan is probably like one that comes to the top of my head. He's on Blue Train, right? Or he's on Giant Steps, right?
Yeah, both. I believe.
Both of them. And I don't know. I feel like not enough people really know his name. Unless you're into jazz, then you know his name. But
there's definitely some legacy for sure. I think for some reason, the first one that came to me was Alice Coltrane.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't get as much love as her husband,
Definitely.
Mr. John Coltrane, of course.
Yeah.
But her music I love, man.
She's awesome.
It's incredible.
She's got a wicked, a crazy free jazz album with Santana that is unbelievable. First time I heard that, I was like, what is this?
Yeah. It's very cool. So
Are there influences from other cities on Detroit?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's...
Yes, but more so, it almost seems like all these different cities have their own scene in terms of the jazz thing, and it's all jazz based, but the scene in New York to Detroit to New Orleans differs quite
Could you talk about some of those differences?
Definitely the tunes that get called maybe at some of these jams, there's just some in New York that the few times I've been to jams there, I've heard them call, and I'm I have no idea. I don't even know who that's by. Where usually any of the jams around Detroit, just because I've gone to so many of them, then I'm I'm familiar with the norm and what kind of gets called around there. I'm I know that. I might not know how to play it, but I've heard it kind of thing. And there's just because the community is so well connected like that, there's a kind of a consciousness of what's hip kind of, or what people are really digging, and it kind of just, it's a very local thing in that way, I think, where New York it would be totally different, and just the styles, you know, if there are musicians that are from Detroit, you know, from whatever the 70s and 80s that are a bit more obscure, like Wendell Harrison is one that comes to mind. Like he's like a legend in Detroit to, you know, a lot of jazz players, and they love his music and they might call his tunes, but like in New York, he's pretty off the radar, you know.
New York, they like to stretch tunes a lot more, meaning that they might be more willing to solo outside of the changes. They might be more willing to take hard tempos. A common New York thing on playing a blues is to go through all 12 keys in your solos. You kind of start blues in A, then next chorus is A sharp, next chorus is B, next chorus is C. This is what one of our professors, Vincent Chandler from Wayne, told us about when he went to New York. And he wasn't, you know, prepared for some of this stuff. He wanted to play a blues, and then, you know, next thing you know, he learned by being there, hey, this is how we do a blues here. We go through all the changes, or, you know, all the keys. So just, you know, yeah, and that's a funny example.
Dope.
But yeah, it is cool. It's interesting though. And like, yeah.
I want to look up what that sounds like. I just like hear that.
Yeah.
I
think that's really fascinating. Are you going to say something, Logan?
Oh no, I was just going to say that is a lot. You know, I think that, you know, it's interesting to have something like that feels like a growth experience or exercise built into the music and community. And I think that maybe New York has like the volume that allows something like that to kind of slide. But I do feel like everyone here too is very much so for servicing the music. And I don't know if maybe that kind of plays into some of the thing that we talked about getting vibed or something kind of feeling intense. Is I think like there seems to be really serious audiences in the city. Maybe it's because of the legacy that exists here. And there's such a cool history of mentorship that is kind of existed here and continues to grow through these like learning experiences at the jam sessions.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's funny that the word vibe means like a negative thing.
Isn't that funny?
Here, it's like, that's a vibe, meaning it's a good thing.
Yeah, right. I'm
So
with you
being
there
vibed,
too.
Yeah.
It's like, I would say like vibed out or something.
Right.
But
Right.
nobody asked me. Right? I think that's really cool. Do you think, are there people you look up to now that are in the city specifically that are doing something interesting, that are maybe achieving something that like kind of you're striving towards?
I would say Vincent Chandler. Like last time I spoke to him, he's working on a record. I need to touch base with him. I think it's coming out this year. That is like very intent on capturing the Detroit sound, kind of. And I think he's gonna like really tour it through a ton of, you know, colleges and wherever that people can hear that distinct Detroit sound. Which, I mean, if you want somebody to tell you what Detroit jazz sounds like, you ask him, not us. But
How old is this guy?
how old is he? Did you say?
Yeah.
40s, I think.
I would say
Vincent Chandler?
Yeah, Vincent Chandler. He was one of our mentors at Wayne's, incredible trombone player and composer. Yeah, I definitely look up to him in a big way. All of his compositions are very like, I don't know, they draw from some of the same inspirations that I have, like Roy Hargrove and people like Kenny Garrett, or like some of these more modern kind of guys who brought the kind of hip hop sound into their thing, which is cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
To add to that, I mean, like a big thing Malcolm did, it might have been your last year there or something, was like arrange a lot of Detroit tunes for Professor Chandler, where he's hosted a series, and I think it's maybe once a month on Sundays. I think it's the Detroit Jazz Preservation Series over at Wayne. Is like a free concert playing the music of Detroit composers by Detroit artists, and it's just like another way he's, you know, continuing to kind of give back and add to the legacy there.
Interesting. I think it's tough because I feel that Detroit has a huge legacy. Like you guys are talking all about the jazz. There's obviously Motown, huge legacy across so many different genres, even hip hop. I meant techno.
Yeah.
You know, with different people, but so many artists now skip Detroit on tour.
Yeah.
It really drives me crazy.
It drives me nuts.
I'll be online,
especially when they go to like Kalamazoo and play at Bell's.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Well, I'm sorry. Like, I know it's close to Chicago, but come on.
It bums me out because I think people will hit Cleveland and then go across to Chicago. They're just skipping. And it's sad because, somebody who's been going to concerts for the better part of 20 years, it's like you can see the crowds just aren't there. So it makes sense financially for artists to skip the city. But, I don't know what it'll take to bring these people through.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I just mean like in general now, not necessarily jazz or whatever, but it's just like, one of my favorites is Johnny Marr from the Smiths. He's been saying for 40 some years how much he loves Motown, but he skips Detroit every second tour. So he'll come here like 1 or 3 times.
It's not my fault. It's my agents.
And it's like, well, I get it. Like,
I don't
he'll
have
play
any
the
say.
Magic Stick, or I saw him at St. Andrews. So not huge, but he sells out St. Andrews. I'd say that's pretty successful.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's not like we don't have good like mid-cap venues. Like we have like 3 or 4 like off the top of my head that are great. Like St. Andrews, the Majestic.
It could be just
Masonic has like some smaller, mid-sized rooms that people come through. I don't
exactly.
know.
Demographically, I'm sure there's a lot of interesting things going on in this city, though, too, where I feel like most of the concerts I might go to are like heavy metal. And I think we have a good concert culture there that exists. I mean, for sure, with like the Sanctuary and like St. Andrews Hall and the Shelter, they always pack rooms with a lot of the metal shows I've seen. And so I don't know if it's kind of a genre sensitive thing where maybe more people that are into this kind of music might be interested in seeing it live more so than if it's a different style.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, this is my theory from the outside, there's a lot more DIY venues coming up, like I like the Russell or like Edgman Printing, where a lot of hardcore bands are playing. And I have to imagine it's like AEG or Live Nation free. So people are finding places that aren't owned or ruled by those.
Yeah, I think if we like really got into the weeds, the answer to the question is that some of these, companies that own these venues, they're just like, don't bother or something, something. I don't know. There's probably something in the contracts that, just makes it not worth it to an agent booking a tour for a big act or something like that. I don't know.
For sure, venues are trendy. Like one venue will be really popular for 6 months and then another or whatever. But I don't know. It just bothers me that like so many bands skip here with such a history and legacy.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Whether they're big or small, it's just like, man.
But I mean,
like this group.
Every time I feel like there's been a couple times where I've seen a band and they've said like, this is our first time in Detroit. Like, you guys are like the best crowd we've had, and like maybe I always get the feeling like, you're just saying that, but
crowd work.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it could just be crowd work, but sometimes I like really I believe it, because I don't know. We show out and we give the artist of the band, we give them a lot of love. Because we're music people.
Great. I mean, there is such a history
city
here. There is such that legacy that hopefully, it can continue to live on in whatever way it does the next time around. But obviously with I said electronic music or like movement, Demph or whatever. It's a huge thing that people are digging, and that's a big thing, right? However many people show up there. I think I want to touch on the next kind of section here. Is like, you guys seem to all like a lot of different styles of music. You mentioned metal and just in general, like you guys are working on some new tunes. You've kind of alluded to this idea of writing together, playing different instruments, different influences. Kind of what are some of your plans right now?
I don't know. I think we have like half an album in if we so chose to record a full-length project. I would like to,
That's a goal for this year.
Yeah.
Is to record at least an EP, if not a full-length kind of album of all, original stuff.
Yeah.
Or at least, I think all original stuff.
And we like last year we're saving some of the gig money that we were accumulating just kind of in like a band fund type of thing. And we're still sitting on a good chunk of change, and we'd really like to kind of just travel, play maybe in Chicago, wherever, it'd be really fun to go out east. We have a buddy, Brad, shout out Brad Fritcher. He's got connections in Pittsburgh, and then our buddy Lex, he's going to be moving to Philadelphia soon. And so we'd have, a couple stops to make out there that would be pretty fun, just to take a trip and maybe promote and whatnot.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think you guys could travel out east together and just sit in on open jams as the three of you.
Exactly.
It's our first time.
Yeah,
meeting each
yeah,
other.
we're-
Wow. Yeah, we
These
sound
guys
so
rip.
good.
You sound good.
So, yeah, I think it's cool. As we kind of been alluding to, you guys like other styles of music, and I'm sure that helps so much on your jazz. I mean, I know I was talking to Malcolm for the pre-interview, and just this idea, like so many bands that I like have jazz drummers, and the jazz drummers end up pushing that style of music somewhere new.
Yeah.
And I'll mention this because he said the band Botch. He said you like Botch a lot too.
Yeah, Bocce's killing.
Right? So
Yeah.
Botch has this jazz drummer, didn't really know what to do in the metal scene or heavy scene, and like he pushed that band. Maybe it was all of them. Like they played in odd time signatures. They did all this cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then nobody could really replicate them because they were just unique groups of musicians. To me, that's the best thing when you got this group of people coming from all these different backgrounds, different influences, and they're coming to this new place.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
There's
I think
a lot of cool things out there like that.
I think it all comes out in our original stuff, I don't know. I'm big into like 90s, early 2000s kind of hip hop stuff, and I try and kind of bring some of that vibe. And some of the R&B, like D'Angelo was hugely influential to me. So I think some of that comes through on our original stuff, and then Logan's metal chops definitely ring out sometimes. And then Psy's like blues, Stevie Ray language comes through.
My favorite guitar player growing up was Hendrix.
Yeah.
And then into Sabbath and into Floyd, and I didn't get into jazz till much later. So I think there is something unique too about how we all have very Malcolm listens to kind of some R&B, some groove. Logan brings some like heavier sounds, and I have this like blues background. And then where we meet is kind of in this jazz middle ground, which is it's super weird, but it's great though. I love it. There's many times where I've realized that, I'm glad that like another blues head isn't behind the drums or on the bass, because the ideas they throw at me are usually stuff I wouldn't be thinking of, but when I hear it, it's very enlightening and cool to like hear that different perspective.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's awesome. I think typically, it just ends up producing the best music. You got the most amount of influences, and it's good that you're in a group of people that can accept those differences and those different things you're bringing to the table, rather than like, whatever. Hendrix wouldn't do that, so I'm not doing it, right? He was getting into jazz from everybody says before he died, right? He was trying to make a jazz record.
and Banded Gypsies.
I love the band.
So
Gypsies,
did I,
for
man.
sure. And he was apparently supposed to make a record with Miles Davis too, but he died like a week later.
Yeah, right. I heard about
According to
that.
Miles Davis's book, so I believe it.
Right.
It's really fascinating because people evolve, right? And I've also seen an interview from Eddie Kramer that says Hendrix would have been one of the pioneers of electronic music too. Because if he would have kept moving, he wasn't fixated on what he was doing. He was fixated on what he was going, right?
Yeah.
The Miles thing is so interesting because all these great guitar players that Miles had in his band from early on, John McLaughlin, John Schofield, Mike Stern, he told them all separately, man, I just want you to sound like Hendrix. Don't play that, bebop bullshit. Just, sound like Hendrix. Play with feel and power. And it's like so interesting coming from, a jazz guy like
Yeah.
Miles.
Exactly. I think that was one thing I loved about his Miles Davis's book is how blunt he often was. in that book.
Yeah.
But him saying like trying to find somebody who could do the Hendrix thing for so long. I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't get Eddie Hazel though.
Wow, yeah, from
Yeah.
Funkadelic. Would have been a great
That would have
choice.
been
The
a
first
great
time I heard
match.
Funkadelic, I know it's like weird. I was at a restaurant in Ferndale and they were playing Maggot Brain.
Yeah.
And I like ran up to the bar because they spin vinyl there, and they did. It was at Public House, R.I.P. Actually. I ran up to the bar and like, what is this? I need to know now because it sounds like Hendrix.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Strat, it's a Marshall, it's a Univibe,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
cranked. Mm-hmm. And they're like, this is Funkadelic, Maggot Brain.
Yeah.
And sure enough, I went home and listened to the record. Track 1, very different than the rest of the album. Records. Completely different.
Yeah.
But like he had the sound, right? So maybe they didn't know each other.
Yeah.
Who
that's
knows? They didn't cross over. Because Funkadelic, they had the chops. They had the chops for that. But,
Oh, yeah.
they had the clout, is kind of what I meant too. But they were also doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they made a lot of records.
Yeah, psychedelic funk is, how I always quickly describe it, but it's very unique, sound.
It's a big influence, I
Yeah,
think,
I
on
think
all of us,
Yeah,
I would
that's a
say.
weird, middle ground band.
Yeah,
that
we come
all
together.
Dug them a bit.
They're
yeah.
awesome.
Exactly. And I love Mahavishnu as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
John McLaughlin stuff and just whatever, that stuff is happening.
I was just telling these guys about Shakti. It's one of his earlier Indian fusion bands where all
Yeah.
these tablas and they've been around since the 70s. Very cool and
Yeah.
different than Mahavishnu, but if you like Mahavishnu, you probably like Shakti a lot too.
Yeah, I think I've listened to it briefly,
Yeah.
not as much as I have with Mahavishnu. but
Same.
It's funny, I don't know, I went through a phase, it was kind of obscure in a way. I'm trying to make my guitar sound like Miles Davis's trumpet.
Yeah.
Or saxophone. And whatever that meant to me then,
Yeah.
I remember telling somebody whoa, okay. I wasn't trying to play jazz necessarily, but it was just this way. There's things you can do on a reed, or I guess you got a sax as a reed, right? And trumpet's a brass.
Brass,
Yeah.
But sorry, the
Yeah.
semantics. It's there's things you can do with those, the sustain that you can't do on a guitar without a fuzz pedal.
Yeah.
But then once you add a fuzz pedal, get that sustain, it changes it to sound heavy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a different
there's
instrument.
Times, I just want it to sustain.
Without.
And so I often cop the Robert Fripp thing with the fuzz and the volume pedal, which
Yeah.
gives you the violin kind of sound. But you need a certain kind of
roll it
fuzz
in.
pedal to kind of make it so it's smooth and not
Yeah.
heavy distorted.
Right.
But it's I wish there was a way to do that nicely on a guitar.
Right.
To play certain things and
Yeah. No, it's a weird
And
instrument.
speaking of Hendrix right now, it's all about me here, but it's listening to Band of Gypsies, you hear him play one note for 12 bars.
Yeah.
He takes a
on
solo on Machine Gun.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right, yeah.
He plays the same note and he
And
just holds it, but it expresses it differently over 12 bars.
Oh yeah.
Right? And it's same reason I love Neil Young, not proficiently play, but expressive incredibly.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah,
it's
down
just,
by the river.
it's cool that way.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm diverting because we're nerding out over here. Obscure things in a way. But, for
The
you guys,
retention.
you're working on an album. You obviously have this great chemistry. You're allowing yourselves to write and help each other finish songs. When you're now getting to the point where you're going to record, how are you thinking you're going to set up your splits for the songs you guys write?
Haven't really thought about it.
I think
That's a really good
just
question.
transparency is the biggest thing too, and that out of I think all the originals we played, I think one of them I had more skin in the game of bringing in a chunk of what was already composed, where I think a lot of the other things were a mix of what these two guys wrote together or what Mal gave Cyrus and Cyrus added to, and it's I don't know, I'm not too pressed about it where it's I know I'll be able to still come into that space and do something unique, but at the end of the day I think just credit where credit's due is I think what we're all keen on. I don't think any of us is too stuck in their own way to be able to put that down where it's no, I have no reason to claim something that you wrote as yours, and I think we respect one another enough to want to make sure that there's credit given where credit's due.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So likely a song by song basis.
yeah, and I also, we're not going to get into the weeds with that song "The Waitress" where we all really wrote a piece of it. We're not going to count up each note and each chord that we put into it,
be
and
a
say
third, a third,
it's a
third.
21% for me, and
Right.
that's just a song that's 33, 33, 33
Right.
if it came down to it.
Give me that
like-
other 1%.
Yeah,
Well, and then,
yeah, you can.
this Lulu's Lullaby is kind of I have
Ludo.
it right here. I have McNitt and Keshtkar, and then this newest song I have it as you guys,
Yeah.
as your riff, and then with the whole B section. So
Right.
it's some songs have been just one of us, some have been two of us, some have been all three, some have been a different two of us, and it's it's all good. Stuff, though, it's all great.
I think this is a big part of the music business side that people don't talk about, and it can often come back later and hurt you.
Yeah.
And it's really, we're talking about money realistically,
Right.
right? You write part of a song, you say, and it's cool, and then 5 years later, that song, hits 1 million streams or 10 million streams, and it's money, right? It's not livable money, but ideally, you want it to do something, right? So it's worth having your 25% or 10%. But the way I see splits is everybody kind of sees it a little differently. So it's a question I like to ask everybody in this because it's helpful to get these different perspectives.
Yeah.
You know, especially like singer-songwriters or producers, the way they kind of approach it very systematically often. And I spoke with some other people in the jazz scene recently with Olivia Van Gore's band, and they were really, really lax about it.
Yeah.
And to the point where I kept asking because I'm like, how or why? I'm like, it's fine. It's okay. It works out.
And I think something you and I talked about is that, especially when it comes down to a recording with jazz, like it's not just a, you know, a verse and a bridge and a chorus. It's like everybody kind of takes a solo and is improvising on their own, you know, for a bulk of the song. Like we'll state the chorus or whatever, you know, and we'll all kind of take a stab at improvising around the chord changes or whatnot. And when it comes down to that as a product, we all contributed a lot to it, you know what I mean? Where it's like songwriting is one thing, but like the actual, you know, when it breaks down on streaming, like if we're talking about the physical song that was recorded in the way that it was, I don't know if you can be that, you know, black and white with it when it comes to jazz, at least is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, because you helped me kind of realize that in our conversation that the tune takes on the feeling or like the ability of its members.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
If I were to learn
performance.
like hit one of his solos, like I could play it, but like I wouldn't play it the same, or I'd play it the way I could do it. And it's
Right.
going to feel different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they might support you differently as they hear what you're doing. You know,
exactly.
They play a little more, a little less.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask on the question here on the chat. We're going to wrap up here shortly. If you have any more questions, this is your last chance. So please, we've already gotten a lot of love, so thank you all for being there. Make sure to subscribe, like, and all that. But questions for these guys. This is the last.
They're asking for some bluegrass jamming.
Some bluegrass.
Who's got some bluegrass jams?
That's got to be.
That's
It's gotta be Joe.
It is Joe. That is correct. So I got two more questions for you. First, just general hot take. What do you got?
Hot take.
Yeah, it can be about anything.
I think that, you know, most music exists for a reason. Most art exists for a reason. And I feel like that was a funny thing about music school is I always heard like, I like all kinds of music but country music as an icebreaker. So
Yeah.
I say, hang it up, you know, put on the cowboy hat. That's my
that's
hot
right.
take. Just
Give it a try.
have fun. Yeah, right. Try drinking a beer on a boat or something. Like that. It'll change your life one day.
You could look at it and find some new perspective just by listening to it.
Sure. I mean, in the fact that it speaks to someone and even just melodically, you know, what is the lap steel doing if you're trying to be in the weeds on semantics? Like, everything exists for a little bit of a reason. So, I don't know, just open it up a little bit.
I like that. And
I like that too.
something I often think about when writing and producing songs is the idea that most people who are music listeners are not musicians. And this idea that you have to write a song that feels good, regardless of whatever else. It has to feel good. It has to make somebody feel a way. Up,
Yeah, if you
down,
can't dance to
happy,
it or you-
whatever the feeling is. But it's like all the little nuances of certain things like don't necessarily matter if the song isn't really doing anything to somebody's emotion.
My teacher, my private drum teacher, Dave Taylor, shout out Dave, the man. He would always say, if you're playing a gig and you can't see anybody, at the very least, tapping their foot or nodding their head, you're not doing your job.
Yeah, 'cause you could be ripping notes all day, and if people are just kind of like, then it's not doing.
I gotta
something,
feel it.
right. And
Yeah.
it's easy to obsess over tones in the studio, especially in like, you know, composition in some way. But sometimes it's like polishing the song itself can end up taking. It's harder to do in some ways, but to like make it to feel a way.
I'm curious, do you have a hot take on this? This just popped into my mind the other day listening to some, I don't know, maybe it must have been like Genesis or something. Are you pro or anti fade out?
Oh, this is funny. We just had a song we were producing over the weekend that will maybe fade out. John might want to step in on that.
Yeah, I love the album Revolver by the Beatles, and it's like 10 of the 14 songs fade out on the record.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. So as someone who plays in the Smiths tribute band, most of those tunes fade out. And so for us, we play live. We have to
Come
figure
up
out
with
a
an
way to
ending.
end them.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of fun. It's in a way to musically figure it out. I think the fade out is totally fine if you wanted to let it rip.
Yeah, I'm pro fade. I
Yeah.
don't understand the hot take, the
The-
supposedly hot take people have of like just write an ending. It's like whatever.
The ending is it's dope.
Maybe I wanna
and
jam
It fades out,
out,
so you
yeah.
listen again.
Yeah.
That's cool. I haven't heard that hot
Both
take.
have merit, I think.
Go to jazz school, people.
I will say I'd totally endorse the live fade. That takes a lot of skill.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to do.
Yeah, don't let your tempo drop, but
Yeah,
just
right,
really
just-
dynamically, just trying to disappear over time.
That sounds fun.
It's a good
Fun
challenge, yeah.
Cool. All right, we got a question online from somebody. Who is your favorite fanboy? Anybody?
Fanboy
Our favorite?
of us.
You know Edo Sullivan?
Ed O'Sullivan, there we go. Yeah, shout out Ed.
Yeah.
He's a good one.
I think Ed's a great candidate. He's sang with us plenty of times.
Cool.
He's always in our corner.
We do have a notorious fan girl.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jess at Bolero. We have to show love to as the
Yeah.
bartender for our jazz nights. I don't
Nice.
know. She claims to be the number 1 fan. Often like tries to start fights about it with others.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Do you guys have merch? You got to start slinging merch.
Yeah, we've got some ideas.
Yeah.
We just did her first light run t-shirts.
Okay.
Size
How much is
mom.
light? 5?
Like 10.
Sick.
We're not selling them though.
Yeah,
No.
they're priceless.
It's like it's like the Red Bubble special, but yeah,
Okay,
it was
cool.
made with love. So
That is actually a goal.
it's for friends only.
Yeah,
friends
in
and
the
family.
in the near future, we'll get some legit merch.
Yeah, no,
Nice.
we our buddy Jake, who we just visited down in Cleveland, he always came out to our jams, and I've been thinking about commissioning him to do some kind of portrait of us. He does like really cool kind of comic art. So I'm gonna hit him up to do a
That's
shirt
cool.
design or something.
There's no cover, right, to come in for Bolero?
Nope,
Never.
No
it's
cover.
free.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so these guys play at Bolero. What are the dates?
It's every second and fourth Wednesday out of the month. So
Okay.
The next one is the 28th, if I'm not
that
mistaken.
sounds about right.
Whatever, the 4th Wednesday of January.
Yeah.
Excellent. So I have one last question that we ask everybody here on the channel, and it is, how do you define success as a musician? And do you feel that you are there yet?
I'll hop in first. I think it's self-satisfaction is the biggest thing. Understanding that the economics of this field has probably never been stellar since like the king sponsoring you to play the lute or something has gone by the wayside. I think, being true to yourself means so much. And I think that's all that matters the most to me. It is one of those things where you do have to be, rich in experiences, I think is, kind of the end goal of it. And I also fear that if I put more stress on it than that, I might start not loving it as much or something, I guess. But there is a financial degree too. I mean, sure, I think finding your next goals and like setting sights of being like, okay, this, playing a progressively bigger venues is always just a really great feeling, but economic sustainability of that is just like a totally different conversation, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've definitely found success in this group, having this group and being able to kind of pretty freely express myself through the music. I think that's pretty paramount when I kind of think of what success means. But yeah, the financial aspect, we all play kind of what I like to call money gigs, which are just like, maybe like a dinner service at an upscale restaurant where we're just playing like Fly Me to the Moon, and some other
Crowd pleasers.
crowd
In a good
pleasing
way,
kids.
obviously.
Which I love doing it, but it's is it my idea of success just because I'm getting better pay there than maybe like somewhere like Bolero where we get to play our original stuff? I don't know, maybe not, but I don't know. There's a fine line with when you bring money into it, I guess.
Yeah, you can still learn from those gigs, even though you're playing songs you don't necessarily love.
100%.
Definitely.
Your chops can stay sharp, and
Right.
you could hopefully take away something.
Oh, yeah.
Anything for you? Or you think you're...
Just that I definitely don't don't feel like there was never like that day where I graduated college or whatever and I was like, okay, I'm good, like I'm successful now, so I never had that true feeling, but I have a lot of little feelings of success, followed by the opposite, little feelings of like, ooh, that was kind of a rough one tonight and I need to kind of work on it. And I think that's like what I love about it actually, is like these little successes and failures. And I have a feeling that me personally, I'm probably never going to be satisfied, and I'm always going to be just happily chasing the next like little success or failure. And that's like my perspective on it. You know, and one thing that one of my professors, Russ Miller, at Wayne State said is that you're never done learning in music. And I think it can be the wrong mindset to take of ever thinking like, okay, I know it all. You're always kind of, a student of the craft.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel.
I think that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, I don't know how other people think necessarily, but that's how I also feel, like always trying to like learn and grow some way. And maybe there's people out there who get to their level and they're like, I got it, I'm here, right? But I don't know, I just think within the creative field there always is this chasing of the next thing. So
Yeah.
whether or not, you challenge me out there, right? But, well, cool, guys. Thank you so much for this. This is beautiful. So we have
Thank you, Tom.
Keshtkar and Co. here. Go to Bolero, sit in with them. Even if you don't know all the tunes, they're willing to adapt with you. We thank you all for being there online. If this is your first time joining us, thanks so much. Please make sure to subscribe, like, share. If you are a musician and you want to come do this here with us in the studio, let us know. We're doing this every 2 weeks. With different groups. We got a bunch lined up. It's going to be a really fun year. So thanks a lot for being here. We'll see you next time.